This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for the delay. Me and Verizon are not getting along right now. I got to give them a call and let them know we got some issues going on over here. But ladies and gentlemen, the New York Knicks lose to the Boston Celtics 116-102 in a game that from the beginning seemed like the Knicks were going to be in it for the entire game. But in that third quarter, into the fourth quarter, the Knicks just could not keep up with the Celtics. You talk about hot shooting. Ladies and gentlemen, the Boston Celtics were hot all night long. The Knicks didn't shoot bad. They shot well for the most part. They just didn't have enough firepower. They just did not have enough firepower. The Knicks were down by 2 at halftime, giving up 60+% shooting at halftime. And Jason Tatum he only took 5 shots in the first half. It was Jaylen Brown that was dominating in the first half for the Celtics, while Jalen Brunson dominated in the first half for the Knicks. But it wasn't enough. At least on this day, it wasn't enough, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, no doubt about it, the Knicks are undermanned. No Julius Randle, no OG Anunoby. Right? Obviously, no Mitchell Robinson. Hasn't been there for a while. So we haven't been able to play the Boston Celtics at full tilt yet. And there's still time. Right? There's still time. The Knicks still have some time to prove that they can compete with the Boston Celtics. The Celtics right now are the best team in the NBA. There's no doubt about it. They're the best team in the NBA right now. But ladies and gentlemen, even Stephen A. Smith, the biggest New York Knicks antagonist that we know of, supposed to be a Knicks fan, but he's more like a Knicks antagonist. Even Stephen A. Smith at halftime let it be known that you're not playing the New York Knicks that you'll see later on, given that everyone can come back. Now, you did see Julius Randle working out on the court before the game, full of sweat. No guarantee that he's, we're hoping that he can come back. Tom Thibodeau hopes he can come back mid-March. According to the telecast tonight, Randle hasn't ruled out season-ending surgery. I don't think he's going to get season-ending surgery this year. I think Julius Randle tries to make it back, plays in the playoffs. I think he does make it back by March and then plays in the playoffs. But just not enough firepower for the Knicks tonight. Not enough size for the Knicks tonight. You've seen it all over the court. The Celtics could, Jason Tatum guarded by Josh Hart, he's going to be able to shoot over him. Jalen Brunson going to the basket or whoever going to the basket, these small guys the Knicks got. And then Kristaps Porzingis and another tall dude comes and, was trying to block shots and whatever it is. Right? So, it was a tough match for the Knicks tonight. And we knew it was going to be a tough one versus the Celtics tonight. Regardless, the Knicks remain in the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference. Right? They're still the 4th seeded team. That's a good thing. They're not miles ahead of Philadelphia, but Philadelphia is dealing with their own injury woes, just like the New York Knicks are. And the Knicks are trying to figure it out along the way right now. Currently, as we speak, the Knicks are a half game above the Philadelphia 76ers. The Knicks are 34-23. Philadelphia's 33-23. The Knicks are 2 games behind Milwaukee for the 3rd seed. Milwaukee's 36-21. And then you got the Cleveland Cavaliers in the 2nd seed in the Eastern Conference. They're 36-19. Orlando, they're trying to make a push. They're 32-25. The Knicks are just 2 games ahead of Orlando. Orlando is in the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference. Indiana's in the 7th seed. They're also 32-25. So the Knicks, listen, they played the Boston Celtics. You probably expected that they were going to lose tonight. I expected they were going to lose. The Knicks are just severely undermanned when you're playing a team like the Celtics, who are the hottest team in the league. They've won 8 in a row, followed by the Dallas Mavericks, who've won 7 in a row. But the Celtics, are by far the best team in the NBA right now. 45-12, the Celtics are. Minnesota, they're 39-17. The Celtics are like 5 games above them or something like that. Oklahoma City, they're 39-17. But I can't wait to see the Celtics when the Knicks are fully healthy. I want to see it. Because when you look at the first half of the game, and you knew the Knicks it was going to be a struggle for the Knicks to keep up with the Celtics. But when you look at the first half of the game, you can look at it and say, if you got your guns out there, it looks different. Right? It looks different because the Knicks were playing, they were playing spirited. You just don't, you eventually, when you're asking a bunch of guys to do things that they don't normally do, you're asking them to step outside of their role. When you're playing against good teams, it becomes harder to be consistent when you're stepping outside of your role. But I do think the Knicks are a good matchup for this team, though, when they're healthy. So I'm anxious to see how it's going to look. I think the Knicks play them 2 more times. So hopefully, one of these times, the Knicks will get a chance to play them where both teams are healthy. Now, what I think is going to happen, that the Knicks will finally get fully healthy, and they'll have a chance to play the Celtics, and the Celtics won't need to play all their guys. And they will purposely sit their guys so that the Knicks never get a chance to see that matchup. I'm booking on that. Really. I can see that happening. That's just the type of team the Celtics are. I guess I'd do the same thing too. So hopefully we get a chance to see what the healthy Knicks look like against the Boston Celtics. But the Knicks take the loss tonight, ladies and gentlemen. They were led in scoring by Jalen Brunson. 34 points for Jalen Brunson. He did everything that he could do tonight. 34 points, 9 assists, 12 for 25 from the field. He was 4 for 9 from the three-point line, 6 for 6 from the free throw line. Just not enough help for Brunson. The second leading scorer for the Knicks was Josh Hart. He had 16 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. Played a good basketball game, but Josh Hart can't be your second leading scorer when you're playing against the Celtics. That's your issue right there. Just not enough firepower. The Knicks scored 102 points. That's not going to beat the Boston Celtics. On a bad night, it's not going to beat the Celtics, in my opinion. Dante DiVincenzo had 12 points, 4 rebounds. Precious Achiuwa, 8 points, 9 rebounds. Isaiah Hartenstein played 24 minutes. He had 6 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. And again, even Isaiah Hartenstein, although he's out there, he's not playing, he's not able to play the minutes that he normally would because of his Achilles injury. Right? So you're not even getting full, even with the players that you have, you're not getting the full, you're not getting everything from them because they can't go. Because they can't go. Miles McBride had 11 points, 3 rebounds. And when you see lineups on the floor like Miles McBride, Josh Hart, Alec Burks, Bogdanovich, Jericho Sims, versus Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, that's going to be a problem, right? You know that's going to be a problem if you see that lineup on the floor. And we saw that tonight. At least some version of that type of a lineup on the floor tonight. You know what I mean? It's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. But you just got to chop it up that the Knicks are unhealthy. You know what I mean? And I do believe that if the Knicks are able to see them when they're healthy and both teams play their lineups, the Knicks will compete with the Boston Celtics. Celtics led in scoring by Jaylen Brown, 30 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. Jaylen Brown was really killing in the first half, had 20 points in the first half. Jalen Brunson matched his 20 with 19, but Jaylen Brown did have 20 points in the first half, 30 points overall. He shot 54.2% from the field, 33% from the three-point line. Kristaps Porzingis had 22 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists. Jason Tatum had 19 points. Jason Tatum didn't have to do a whole lot of work tonight. He didn't have to do a lot of work tonight. Next in line, Derek White had 13 points. Drew Holiday had 12 points. Al Horford had 10.7 rebounds. Super hot scoring for the most part from the Boston Celtics tonight. Now, they ended up shooting 56.8% from the field. Right? But, throughout the night, there had been upwards of 60 or even more from the field. I mean, the Celtics were shooting the ball like crazy tonight. They cooled off in the fourth quarter. But the Celtics got a lot of weapons. A lot of weapons for the Boston Celtics. And, the Knicks just didn't have enough weapons. 36 rebounds for the Celtics, 39 for the Knicks. A lot of hot shooting, so you're not going to have as many offensive rebounds to go around. 27 assists for the Celtics, 21 for the Knicks. Celtics with 8 steals, 4 blocks, 7 turnovers. The Knicks, 1 steal, 3 blocks, and 13 turnovers. Right? You can't double up the turnover count against the Celtics because they have the horses and the guys to take advantage. The Celtics, 56.8% shooting. The Knicks, 45.1%. The Celtics, 42.9% from the three-point line. The Knicks, 34.2% from the three-point line. 75% from the free throw line for the Celtics. The Knicks, 93.8% from the free throw line. Now, the Celtics, ladies and gentlemen, they're a team that likes to shoot the three. Tonight, they took 35 threes. Not as many threes as we've seen this team take throughout the season. Some of that might have had to do with the Knicks defense. Also might have, because of the size differential between the Knicks and the Celtics, they were able to take advantage of some things inside tonight. The Celtics, 58 points in the paint. The Knicks, 38 points in the paint. Yes, the Celtics were able to, kind of switch off the way that they played a little bit and get more points in the paint instead of shooting so many threes. More points in the paint. Second chance points, Knicks 18, the Celtics 8, but they were shooting the ball so well, they didn't need as many second chance points. Fast break points, the Celtics 10, the Knicks 5. But I agree with a lot of people in the chat, except for Greg. Nah, no panel tonight, just me, Greg, unless you want to get on the panel. It is a Saturday night. Sometimes some people got some things that they got to do. This is what I chose to do. So, Greg, if you want to get on the panel, let your voice be heard. A lot of people are anxious to see who you are anyway. Everybody's salty. Yeah, people are salty. I mean, I think people expected for the Knicks to lose tonight anyway. we hoped that it was going to be. I think the hope was that the game, Greg, was going to be a lot tighter than it ended up being. And from the beginning of the game, it was, right? It was tight. Third quarter, the Celtics, started to extend that lead. But I think people did want to see the Knicks play a tight game without having Randle, without having OG, and it's a tight game. Now people come into the chat with a very different taste in their mouth, feeling like we just handled these guys, not beat them, but handled these guys. No OG, no Randle, undermanned. Isaiah Hartenstein can only go 25 minutes, and we were tight with him. Imagine what happens when everyone gets back. I think that's what a lot of people wanted to see tonight. You know what I mean? But it's cool. I'm good. I mean, here's what I'm good. I'm not afraid of the Celtics. I think the Knicks can compete with the Celtics. Can they beat the Celtics? We'll see. Right? We'll see. But I think they can compete with the Celtics. They can battle with the Celtics. The Knicks got to get healthy to do so. Can they get healthy? Will they get healthy? Of course, is the question. But they can compete with the Boston Celtics. They got the horses to do so. Obviously, it'll be a battle. But the Knicks play the type of game, they play that grit and grind game that may be the perfect antithesis to what the Celtics do and how the Celtics want to play. And I see people saying, well, Alec Burks, he sucks now, and this guy, but you got to understand that the Knicks, you're asking these guys to do some other things. You're asking these guys to do other things. You're asking Alec Burks to be a secondary scorer to Jalen Brunson right now. You know what I mean? You're asking Josh Hart. You're asking Dante DiVincenzo. That's not what these guys are. So the games are going to look different. They got to figure out where they fit in. I mean, right now you're asking Alec Burks to not only be one of the secondary scorers to Jalen Brunson, but, he's also fitting into a new basketball team. So, listen, we still have to be a little bit patient and let some things play out as this team tries to melt together. And hopefully we get our big guys back and we see the way it looks, Knicks are nice, said Josh Hart played all game basically. Yeah. Right? Because Josh Hart is the type of guy that can be effective. He might lose a little bit of effectiveness, but he can be effective playing long minutes, right? Because he just has that hustle. He's a hustle guy. Josh Hart played 41 minutes tonight. Jalen Brunson played 37 minutes tonight. DiVincenzo 31. Precious played 34 minutes tonight. But you need these guys out there on the floor. You need these guys out there. But I think the Knicks are confident they can rock with anybody in the Eastern Conference as long as they have their players. You heard the report about Julius Randle on the telecast. You seen Julius Randle was working out in the Garden before the game. There was another video floating around Twitter where, a guy was, doing some footwork and speed drills, and Julius Randle was in the background shooting. So hopefully this is a good sign that Julius Randle is going to make it back before the end of the season. Although in the telecast, they did say that Randle has not ruled out season-ending surgery. And Randle did say, that he's heard a lot of different opinions. He's going to have to make a decision that's best for his career. Hopefully that decision right now doesn't mean season-ending surgery. Well, let's put it like this. I hope that the injury allows for him to come back. If the injury does not allow for him to come back, then I agree. He's got to do what's best for him in his career. And if that means season-ending surgery, then that's season-ending surgery. I don't want him to, say, well, I'm going to come back just so I can come back, although I should get it. I should get surgery done. I don't want that. If you need surgery, get surgery. You know what I mean? But if you don't need surgery right now and it's strong enough, healthy enough that you can come back, then hopefully he's able to come back. You know what I mean? So, but it, like I said the other night, from some of the comments that I heard from Randle, it doesn't sound as, I wasn't encouraged. And of course, hearing what I heard tonight, I'm not as encouraged either. It still sounds like, to me, like he's thinking and he's thinking. He's trying to figure out what's the best thing to do. In the meantime, he's working out, staying in shape, seeing how the shoulder feels. You know what I mean? And hopefully, he'll be healthy enough to come back for the stretch run of the season. 25 games left for the Knicks, ladies and gentlemen. 25 games left. I need the Knicks to stay away from the 6th seed, stay away from the 5th seed. If they got to stay at the 4th seed, stay at the 4th seed. Somehow, some way, they got to find a way to dig out these games. Right? Hopefully the OG will come back sooner. Right? Add a little bit more firepower, more shooting, more defense. But they got to find a way to pull out these basketball games right now. You're not expecting it against the Boston Celtics because of who the Celtics are. And the Knicks got to play them twice more. We know that. But they got to find a way to do it. Right? Because, you start to have the chips stacked against you, when you start getting down to that 6th seed. You know what I mean? Now, do I think we avoid the play-in? Of course, yeah, I do. I think we avoid the play-in. But, teams are going to be making a move, man. And the Knicks got to find a way to stay above water. They play the Celtics Monday. They play the Pistons on Monday. They should be able to get that win, right? That puts them back 12 games above 500, as long as they can get that win on Monday. Then they play the Pelicans. Both teams right now are 34-23. That's going to be a battle. We've seen the Knicks get wiped up by the Pelicans earlier in the season. That's going to be a battle. The Warriors, they're 29-26. The Knicks, 34-23. We'll see what they are by the time they play the Warriors. But, you still got Steph Curry and those guys over there. Right? Those are still... those guys can light it up at any moment. The game will be in Madison Square Garden. So guys want to perform at the Garden. Listen, look at Greg. Always negative. Loss. That's what he said. Loss. Then they play the Cleveland Cavaliers on Sunday, March 3rd. Right? Cavaliers, second best team in the Eastern Conference right now. Right, you got the Hawks, who are, one of the lower teams in the Eastern Conference. They got the Magic, who's right now they're in the 6th seed. Yeah, it's a tough schedule. The Knicks got to find a way to stay 500 during this schedule. How can they do so? What can they do? You know what I mean? OG comes back, he adds to it, and then you're just missing Randle. You know what I mean? And when OG comes back, he's going to have to play a little bit more of he's going to have to play a bigger role. Right? He's going to have to play a bigger role. Do a little bit more scoring, a little bit more one-on-one. Right? Knicks Tonight said, we need to sign one more scorer. Who? Who are you signing? Who are you signing? That's really going to come in and be an impact player. I don't think there's going to be anyone out there to sign that you're going to bring in to be an impact player for this basketball team. We have enough new pieces right now for Tom Thibodeau to worry about. So I don't see that you're signing anybody that's really going to be an impact player on this basketball team right now. I think the Knicks just got to figure it out with who they have. Right? Figure it out. You said the kid from OKC. I don't. Who are you talking about? I think right now the Knicks just got to figure it out with who they have and move forward. You know, you add another new piece. Now you're trying to fit another new piece in. You know, I mean, for me, unless it's a surefire impact player, I can't understand bringing in somebody new right now that who's going to get significant time. I mean, if you bring somebody in that's just going to be, you know, an insurance policy riding the end of the bench, I get it. Right, but if you're bringing in someone who is going to play, who's going to be in a rotation, but this guy really isn't an impact player, I don't know. I think the Knicks have enough adjusting to do right now. I don't know if you're bringing in anybody that's going to change the outlook of these next however many games, besides players that we already have who were hurt, right? And that being OG and Julius Randle. So I don't know. You know, I think, you know, Tom Thibodeau got to figure out the best way to use guys like Bojan, Bogdanovich. Best ways to use Bogdanovich. You know, to get him scoring a little bit more. Best ways to use Alec Burks. So it's not just, you know, Alec Burks pulling up, you know, off the dribble with a defender in front of him. You know what I mean? So, yeah, there's work to be done. Work to be done. It's the only thing that I can say. Work to be done. Tom Thibodeau's got to figure out good schemes with this team and figure out how to get the most out of the players that he has right now on this basketball team. I don't think you're adding anybody, ladies and gentlemen, anybody that are changing. No impact players. No impact players out there, in my opinion, are going to change things for the Knicks. Right? Barbershop Sports Talk says, Sam, it was known the C's shoot the most threes per game. 4 of our 5 best three-point shooters should have been out there at some point to counter the barrage of shots they were making. I'm going to be honest with you, though. I still don't think we would have had the firepower, you know, I just don't think we would have been able to counteract their shooting. I just don't think we had the shooters on this team to do it, the scorers on this team to counteract their shooting. I mean, they only took 35 threes tonight. They scored heavily in the paint tonight. They outscored the Knicks by 20 points in the paint. You know, so I don't think there was anything the Knicks are going to be able to do. You know, you got 2, 3 All-NBA guys, All-NBA caliber guys, I guess, out there on the floor. You know, the Knicks had 1. It means something. You know, I mean, but listen, I understand it. You can try to counteract their scoring, you know, or counteract that three-point shooting. And I think the Knicks tried to counteract it with, you know, closing out on those shots, trying to keep the three-point shooting to a minimum, I guess, if you want to say. Playing with all NBA guys, man. They're playing with all NBA guys. It's tough. It's tough. The Knicks, I mean, tonight, let's see, how many threes did the Knicks take? The Knicks took 38 threes. They took more threes than the Celtics. The Celtics are just more efficient, better shooters. Just more efficient from the three-point line. You know, I don't know if there's anything the Knicks could have did tonight to counteract the Celtics besides play, and that's what the Knicks did. They played. But listen, don't be worried. I'm not worried. I'm not worried about the Celtics. Let's say that. And that doesn't mean I'm saying, oh, yeah, the Knicks can definitely beat them. No, it's just I think the Knicks can compete with them. What I'm worried about is that the Knicks are not going to be able to get healthy enough to get the best seed in the playoffs. They'll be in the playoffs, but I'm just afraid that, they're not going to be able to get healthy enough in time. It's what it is. It's what it is. It's what it is. I'm scared of that. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be on tomorrow. I'm going to jump off. All right. I know it's a short show, but I'm going to jump off tonight. And I will be back on tomorrow. Probably have a couple of guys with me tomorrow. Got to talk about some other things that's on my mind. I need to talk about it with a panel and a group of guys. But I wanted to jump on and just talk about this game tonight and what I saw from the Knicks, who the Celtics are, the outlook going forward, where the Knicks are going to, we know it. It's all about health and getting guys back. It's all about health. It's all about that. What I can see is that the group of guys that's been here with Brunson, DiVincenzo, Isaiah Hartenstein, Josh Hart, Deuce, the chemistry is still there. It's figuring out that chemistry with the new guys. You know what I mean? Like the chemistry that we saw when Randle was playing and then Randle went down, but the Knicks were in the midst of that 9-game win streak. It's still there. It's trying to get Burks and Bogdanovich mixed into that chemistry, figuring out how to play with them. That doesn't mean that the Knicks are just going to be winning. You know what I'm saying? But this is a good time to get them mixed in and learn the chemistry. Then when OG and Randle come back, y'all get it. Y'all get it. So we're still looking up with this team. It's just about getting guys back. The Knicks got to fight. Detroit on Monday. The Knicks should be able to get that win. Now is all season long, the Knicks have been beating teams they're supposed to beat. They got to make sure they're doing it now. Right? They got to make sure they're doing it now. Beat the teams that they're supposed to beat. You got to beat Detroit. You can't play around with that team. You can't go into the game figuring that you got the win no matter what. I know they're terrible. They're garbage. One of the worst teams in the NBA. If not the worst team. Probably the worst team in the NBA. They're 8-48. So you got to take care of business against the Celtics. You can't play around with those guys. That would be a really, really bad loss. They lost to the Celtics. So the Knicks got to beat, if they lost to the Pistons, they got to beat the Pistons on Monday. That's a must-win situation, in my opinion. That's a must-win. The Knicks are, battling to stay afloat right now. I want them to at least, while everyone is hurt, maintain a 500 record. If they can maintain a 500 record, maybe they can stay right there with in that 4th seed because Philly is hurting too. Must win on Monday against the Detroit Pistons. You know what I mean? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of here. I appreciate your time, and I will see you tomorrow, folks. I'm out. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When send past the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place to tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.